Legends of Tomorrow, episode 4. We're up to episode 4, the prom night slasher. Now, this is this can get a little confusing, so let me try to break this down, explain this and break this down in a good way. So, back in 2004, I want to say? No, that's when he died. Alright, so basically, back in the day, there was a kid named Freddie. He was being bullied as a child. He went to prom. Something bad happened at prom, which was a result of him being bullied. And because he was being bullied by people, he then put on a mask, took a knife, went to prom, murdered murdered 7 people in his entire class. And the only person who got away was the girl that he liked. And he got arrested or whatever, and they dubbed him the prom night slasher for the 6 people that he killed. Now, we fast forward, I guess 10, 15 years later, whatever. So this happened, I guess, maybe in the 80s or whatever. So now, in 2004, the prom night slasher Freddy, he got sentenced to the death penalty. So, the episode starts with him in the death chamber. They give him the needle or the gas or whatever, however they choose to kill him. And then Freddy, the prom night slasher, dies. His mom loses her mind, because she watched, the family's there whenever someone, that happens to somebody. So the mom was there, and then, it was she started screaming or whatever, because her son died. So they show you the body inside the morgue truck, and then all of a sudden, the body comes out of the bag and then starts killing everybody in the truck, and then we're just holy crap, the prom night slasher is still alive, as an adult. So, because, again, the theme for Legends is they're taking on historical villains, the prom night slasher is on the list. So the prom night slasher Freddy gets his soul back, and now in 2004 is the class reunion, where everybody, all the kids, the class reunion was to honor the 6 people who died the night of the prom. So, and again, this is 2004. So now that the prom night slasher has its soul back, the prom night slasher is going to the reunion to finish the job and kill all the people that, he never had a chance to kill the first time when they were all kids. So the Legends go to investigate because the prom night slasher is not supposed to, because the prom night slasher is supposed to be dead, he's not supposed to be there. So they go to 2004, they go to the reunion. The prom night slasher is there, Freddy's there, now that he's back from the dead, he has psychic powers. He has psychokinetic powers. So he locks all the doors, which traps Mick, Ava, and Sarah inside the high school. Ray and Nate are outside, they can't get in. And now they're all trapped in the school with the prom night slasher who killed and the first victim was the girl, that he liked, that dissed him in high school. So he killed the girl. And then Mick apparently used to go to that high school when he was a kid, and Mick bumped into his old girlfriend, and then the prom night slasher killed Mick's old girlfriend, so now Mick's upset. And then Ray comes up with an idea. In order to stop this whole thing from happening, let's just go back in time to 2000. Well, no, 2000. He's let's go back in time to the 80s. Let's go. He wanted to go back to the night of the prom because he said that if we can convince Freddy to not become the prom night slasher, then we can save everybody. Nora Dark, she popped up on the Wave Rider because her and Ray are dating, and she's a fairy godmother. And she was talking about how she hates the fairy godmother job because all it is a bunch of spoiled brats and everybody wants a pony. But she said that so she ends up going with Ray and Nate back to the prom days. So, but when they got there, Nora basically said that because she's a fairy godmother, her powers, it's like a magical contract where she has to help the most troubled kid. And she said because Freddy's the most troubled kid, she's going to automatically appear for him in a time of crisis, which is him going to prom. Because, now that we're back in the days, we're back at the prom days, Tiffany, the girl that he liked, asked her to prom. This was a setup because she was working with the bullies, and they were supposed to. She was supposed to take him to prom, and then the bullies were going to dump trash all over him during the prom and embarrass him. So that was supposed to be the thing that sets him off to become like the prom night slasher or whatever. So now Nora, she magically pops up, at Freddy's house. Freddy's like, "What the hell?" She's like, "I'm your fairy godmother," and she's trying to talk him into not seeking his revenge on all these children. But but Freddy was just like, what he wanted was, he asked her for a nice suit and a limo. So she gives him a suit and a limo. He goes down to prom. He's at prom. He's dancing with Tiffany. Nate picked up on it right away. He was like, the hottest girl in school is showed up with Freddy, who's a loser. She's working with the bullies. They're gonna pull a prank on him, and he was right. But because Tiffany got to know Freddy, because like she hung out with him, she was like, wow, like you dress well, you're a nice dancer. They were talking a little bit. She started liking him, and then she backed out of the whole situation. So she was supposed to bring him to a spot where they were going to dump the garbage on. She changed her mind and moved him out of the way. The bullies got mad, and they were just like, what's going on? They threw like punch in they threw punch in Freddy's face, and then they told Freddy that like Tiffany doesn't like you. She was supposed to set you up to humiliate you. And then Freddy got mad and he stormed out. He was like, oh, those kids don't like me. Nora was like, no, Freddy, because Nora was afraid he was going to use his last wish to tell her, like, I want you to kill them all. That's what everybody's fear was. But instead, like, Nora talked him down a little bit, and then she told him, she was just like, don't be a bad person, be a good person. So he decided, he was just like, you know what, instead of wishing for his classmate's demise, he asked Nora to give him the power to be cool. So he goes back into the prom. He's doing a dance number. He has like, his outfit is clean. He has backup dancers, and everybody was like, wow, Freddy's a cool guy, which was the ultimate revenge, because he ended up making friends. He ended up making friends because he showed like the whole school he was a cool kid. So then Tiffany apologized. Freddy's got his limo. There's like he got a whole bunch of chicks with him, including Tiffany. They're all gonna get in his limo, and they're gonna go somewhere. So now, real quick, Zari, she's still on the Wave Rider. She ends up getting into an argument with her brother, and they brought her to the night of the prom. So the Wave Rider is in front of the school the night of prom. Zari gets off the ship. She ends up going into the limo because she thinks that Gideon called the limo for her. There was a moment where, because the way Zari got off the ship was, because remember, she got her mind changed in the whole time situation. So Zari's having like time flashbacks of her previous life, and she remembers being like the technical person and the code person. So she knew the code to override Gideon to get her off the Wave Rider. So she gets off the Wave Rider, she sees the limo, she gets in the limo. She's in the limo now with Freddy and the girls, and then when she asks the driver, how come we're not moving, it ends up being the prom night slasher. So now everybody's like, oh my god, we thought we fixed history. If Freddy's not the prom night slasher, who's the prom night slasher? So then we cut back to 2004 at the reunion. Sarah and Ava are in the school, and Mick, they find the prom night slasher they find the prom night slasher at the reunion. Mick tries to get his revenge for his girlfriend dying. The prom night slasher kills Mick, and then he fights Ava and Sarah. Ava and Sarah end up knocking, because the prom night slasher had a mask on. The mask, they end up taking the mask off him. Come to find out, she took the mask off herself. Then we find out that the prom night slasher is actually Freddy's mom, because Freddy's mom is basically like crazy. She's one of those parents that like overly loves her children to the point where she didn't want to share her son with anybody. And then she was like, Freddy and I were perfectly fine until that girl asked him to prom. So it was, in fact, so back in the day, it was actually Freddy's mom who put the mask on during prom and she killed all the bullies that bullied her son, and then she killed Tiffany. So then now we're in the parking lot, because everybody ran out the limo. So now they're Freddy and all the girls, including Zari, they're being attacked by the prom night slasher. Zari's brother shows up, knocks Freddy's mom out. They take the mask, Zari, sprays mace in her face, takes her mask off. Freddy's like, oh, that's my mom, and then, he finds out his mom is crazy. They knock the mom out. The police come, take his mom to jail. So they save history in that regard. So history was changed because, in the original timeline, when the bullies died, and when all the bullies died, everybody blamed Freddy for it, and Freddy was the one who went to prison. Freddy was the one who paid for his mother's crime, and then Freddy was the one who got the electric chair. His mom, when she saw him die, she had a heart attack because, again, she overly loved her son. She had a heart attack watching her son die, so she died the same day that Freddie died. And when she was being taken, and when both of them were being taken to the coroner, like I guess to the funeral home, that's when she got her soul back from Astra, and then she went to go wreak havoc at the reunion. So that was it. And then Nora spoke to Freddie. She was just like, look, you know, because Freddie was like, yo, my mom, I know my mom, you know, was a little crazy, but he was like, but now I'm alone. And then Nora's like, you're not alone, but, you know, she's like, you got Tiffany. and she was like, this is your chance to be the person that you want to be, not the person everybody thinks you're going to be. So they saved his life. They actually literally saved Freddie's life because in the original timeline, he spent his entire life in prison and then he was executed. So now he has a chance to live a full life, and none of the bullies died, and then Tiffany didn't die. You know, everybody goes back to 2004 to the reunion to go pick up Sarah and them. Mick was brought back to life. He bumps into his girlfriend. The two of them end up getting it on. They see an older Freddie and an older Tiffany. They're married. They're at prom together. And it looks like Freddie had a good life and all is well in Legends Land. So now, Zari and her brother, they patch things up, and then she decides she's going to stay on the ship for a while, which is also going to continue to mess with her memories and mess with her brain, so we'll see how that whole thing unfolds. Now, with Constantine, if you watch the Justice League Dark movie, there was like this magical disappearing house that Constantine lives in. He ends up going back to the house. Him and Gary go to the house, and then Charlie's there. Charlie's there dressed up. Charlie's there disguised as him, throwing a wild sex party. And he's like, Charlie, how did you find out about the house? And she's like, you bloody told me when you were drunk, fool. And then, so now like Gary. So it looks like Charlie's gonna spend the season with Gary and Constantine instead of with the Legends. So they're at the house together, and then Charlie's talking to Constantine. She's just like, yo, what's the deal with the girl, with the girl who's bringing all these souls back? Constantine's like, well, one way I can stop her is to go through this, because there was a door in his room, in his house, that was closed. He was like, I can go through that door and talk to this evil spirit, regarding Astra, but he was like, the spirit that's behind that door is Astra's mother, and she's not happy with me. And then Charlie was like, I understand that sucks, but if there's a way for you to fix this, going through that door seems like the easy thing to do. So Constantine sucks it up, takes a deep breath, he goes through the door, and now Constantine's going to have a conversation with Astra's mother. And we'll see how, because it's like, the way Legends is going right now, there are two shows going on right now. It's like, yes, both of them have to do with Astra, because she's sending the souls throughout history, and, but it's like we're watching Legends of Tomorrow and Constantine season 3 at the same time, which is nice, because you feel like you get more for your money. So that's it. So that was basically it. Like another rousing Legends episode. They said Zari's a part of the team now officially, and Charlie, Gary, and Constantine are on a mission to save Astra's soul. So thank you for tuning in. We have NXT TakeOver Portland coming up. I got my other DC reaction videos. Leave a comment, like, and or subscribe. I got some Street Fighter in the woodworks coming soon, so take care. And until next time, everybody, for Legends, I'm out this bitch!